Well, would you look at that? It's been one whole year since I started editing these AVGN episodes, making them safe for everyone to watch. As you can see by the unlit candle, because I only have one match in my house, and the birthday cupcake. Hello everyone, it is me, David, and just want to thank everyone for letting this year go by well in terms of getting all these AVGN videos safe for everyone to watch. And as you can see, I've got my editing software up, and yep, that's where all the magic happens. So happy first birthday to me editing AVGN videos. So here, blow out your imaginary candle and make a wish. Oh, what's that? You want me to blow out your imaginary candle, make your wish for you, and enjoy this cupcake. Well, I'll do that with pleasure. Anyways, let's get on to the video.
He's gonna take you back to the past to play the games that suck. He'd rather have a buffalo take a diarrhea dump in his ear. He'd rather eat the rotten of a roadkill skunk and down it with beer. He's the angriest gamer you've ever heard. He's the angry Nintendo nerd. He's the angry Atari Sega nerd. He's the angry video game nerd.
Where were we? Okay, so as I was saying last time, Mortal Kombat went on to inspire a generation of knockoffs and imitators that just couldn't replicate what Midway was doing, but don't think that stopped anyone from trying, though I sure wish they did. Companies hungry for that sweet, blood-stained Mortal Kombat money went to cash in on the phenomenon, and the first to take a stab at it was Incredible Technologies with their game Time Killers. Time Killers came out only a few months after Mortal Kombat did, and was really meant to be more of an answer to Street Fighter. However, the heavy reliance on blood and gore caused it to be thought of as a ripoff of Mortal Kombat. The game is basically the definition of nothing special. The only real defining feature of this game is the ability to dismember and even decapitate your opponent during a match, which I'll admit is kind of amusing and actually satisfying when you can pull it off. It's just a flesh wound, right? There's also a fatality move you can do when the opponent gets dizzy. All you have to do is hit all the buttons at once. It's cool the first time, but it gets old pretty quick because it's the same for every character. They just slash the arms and head off the opponent, and that's it. Once you've seen a character do it, you've basically seen everyone do it. It's funny seeing the opponent without a head between rounds, though. I could see this as being a fun diversion or a time killer, if you will, but I couldn't imagine popping quarters into this game. The only reason I ever saw people playing this in the arcades was if Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter were taken up. It's funny to say, but Mortal Kombat had class, but this game feels like a dirty 50-cent hooker you came across in an alley. It really goes to show you that Mortal Kombat had so much more than just the violence going for it. The gameplay was fun and the story was cool. The violence was just the cherry on top. Not to mention, the characters were memorable. You know, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Sonya, Kano, Raiden. We all know them. But who the remembers Wolf, Leaf, Thug, Mantaz? I only know them because I'm looking at them. The second I turn this off, I'll go back to my blissful existence of not remembering. The entire roster is just unappealing to look at. Their animation sucks, and they're as generic as hell. The only character I kinda like is Rancid because he has a chainsaw. But oh my, is he hideous. He's basically the epitome of what 90s corporate suits thought was edgy. A big hoop earring and a mohawk the color of mucus. Yup, that's 90s edgy in a nutshell, even though it says he's from the year 2024. Well, if this is what people look like in 4 years, we're doomed as a society. And no, I'm not reviewing this in the year 2024 because I'm doing it right now. So the whole point of the game is to beat everyone and then fight against Death himself to become immortal, which Death apparently is because he says it every chance he gets.
I am the immortal. I am the immortal. I am the immortal.
To beat Death, you have to finish him off by decapitating him, which, trust me, is way easier said than done. Death puts every Mortal Kombat boss to shame. Goro, Shang Tsung, Shao Kahn. Death thinks they're all a bunch of All of his moves are insanely difficult to block, and he often cancels out your moves. He can even one-shot you before the round barely begins. Death is a I have an unhealthy amount of hate for this game. Seriously, you need to spend a damn paycheck to beat this on an actual arcade machine. It took me 14 tries, but I was able to slice his head off Highlander style, so there's $7 in fake quarters and about an hour of my life wasted. Luckily, I'm immortal now. So this wasn't exactly the Mortal Kombat killer that Incredible Technologies hoped it would be, but Time Killers was apparently popular enough to warrant a console port, so here's Time Killers on Sega Genesis. Oh, those graphics. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, so this game came out in '96. I mean, what's the point? There were Genesis games in '89 that looked better than this. This could pass as an NES or Master System game. Look at this. Matrix doesn't even have a face. She doesn't have a face. The sound is god-awful too. All the characters sound like they're being strangled. And the music sounds like the London Symphony Orchestra if they replaced their instruments with diseased roosters. The fact that this got released so late in the Genesis's lifespan, and no, the fact this got released at all, shows they just didn't give a I played the game long enough to get to Death, which took less than 10 minutes. I beat every other character on my first try, but Death is as cheap as ever. And unlike the arcade, you only get 4 continues, so yeah, I didn't beat him, and I don't give a I'd rather play Fred Savage Savage Fury Tournament Fighter. At least that one had better controls. This is not worthy of the Sega Genesis. I mean, I don't understand how an actual person could look at this game and think it was morally right to charge money for it. They sold this to people for money. They should be ashamed. But believe it or not, Capcom was actually impressed with Time Killers, the arcade version that is, enough so that they gave Incredible Technologies the opportunity to make Street Fighter the movie the game. So get this, a company that ripped off Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter was paid by Capcom to make a Street Fighter game that rips off Mortal Kombat. Just blows my mind. Back in my Street Fighter 2010 review, I talked about Street Fighter the movie the game, or so I thought. What I actually talked about was the version that Capcom developed and released on home consoles. However, the arcade version is an entirely different game. So why did Capcom say F you to Incredible Technologies and make their own version? Well, just look at it. Gone are all the things that made Street Fighter a success. The precision is replaced with clunky button mashing, the iconic music is replaced with generic droning background noise that barely qualifies as music, and the voice acting... Yeah. Just like Time Killers, the game wants nothing more than all the quarters in your pocket. The game can be downright unfair at times. The difficulty spikes randomly, and some fighters are damn near impossible. The worst fight by far is against Sagat. He has this eye laser that freezes you, and he uses it a lot. Boy, I am sick of that eye laser. Also, for some reason, they added Akuma, even though he wasn't in the movie. And he's played by Ernie Reyes Sr., father of Ernie Reyes Jr., of course. His teleport looks really stupid, like some kind of clown act or something. I mean, he just runs around like a jackass. With all that said, the game actually introduced a number of innovative features that would be adopted by later Street Fighter games, but the game itself is about as fun as having leakage on a public transit. Yeah, no fun. Because of this mess, Capcom had to redo the game from the ground up, but Street Fighter the movie, the game, the arcade, will forever be another skid mark on the Street Fighter bath towel. Bath towel that E. Honda took a in. Okay, this next game we have here, Jackie Chan in Fist of Fire. Now this I could actually get into. It's a Mortal Kombat ripoff with Jackie Chan. Oh, I don't care if the game sucks or not. It's Jackie Chan in a Mortal Kombat style fighting game. All right. This is actually an update of a game called Jackie Chan the Kung Fu Master. In that version, Jackie Chan's a boss character and isn't playable though. But in Fist of Fire, you get not one, not two, but 3 versions of Jackie Chan to play as. This game is ass, but it's fun. It's in no way a perfect game, but if I saw this at an arcade, I'd definitely toss some quarters in. Other than the 3 versions of Jackie Chan, there's also 6 other characters to choose from, each of which was either in a Jackie Chan movie or part of his stunt team. The game is pretty damn difficult, but the novelty alone makes it fun to play. Also, there's fatalities. That is, unless you're fighting as Jackie Chan or against him. He's the only character that can't be finished off, and if he loses, he gets right back up and congratulates the winner. And that is so Jackie Chan, to get right back up after a beatdown and give a thumbs up. The fatalities are actually pretty gruesome too. People get cut in half, crushed, and blood sprays from their throat. Other than that, it's pretty lighthearted like most of his films. This would definitely be good for getting some friends around, having a beer, and beating the out of each other. In the game though, not in real life. Overall, a fun diversion. It was good to cleanse the palate from all the diarrhea we've been gargling. But don't worry, from here on out, you're gonna see some serious Here it is. Tattoo Assassins. Now, we're really getting into it. This is possibly the most notorious of all the Mortal Kombat ripoffs, and the crazy thing is it was never actually released. The game was developed by Data East Pinball, a company that, well, get this, only made pinball games. Who would have thought? But what's even crazier, it was created by Bob Gale, the writer of Back to the Future. Yeah, I don't even know what to think of this. A Mortal Kombat ripoff developed by a pinball company, created by the writer of Back to the Future? Is this real life? The story centers around this guy in a diaper and his magic ink that gives people powers. Only certain people can handle the ink, while others turn into hideous mutants. An evil guy named Colden steals the ink and decides to make an army of mutants to take over the world, and you have to stop him. There's 9 extremely generic characters to choose from, all with their own unique marketing logo and backstory. Honestly though, I haven't read any of them because I can't stop staring at their faces. The eyes are drawn on most of them. Some look okay, I guess, but others have these weird googly eyes that are staring off to the side. The best is AC Current with the goofiest smile I've ever seen. So what really makes Tattoo Assassins stand out from all other fighting games is the amount of fatalities. Yeah, they really cut no corners with this one. I mean, this has more fatalities than any other game. You know how many? 2,196. Wow, I don't know, guys. You think maybe? Do you think that's enough fatalities? I mean, if there's 2,196 fatalities and 9 characters, that means each one has 244 fatalities. Mortal Kombat only has 1 or 2 per character, but that's compared to Tattoo Assassins. Yeah, no joke. There are so many fatalities that all you have to do is mash random buttons at the end of a fight, and odds are you'll do one. I swear, I'm just hitting whatever and I do a fatality every time. Well, the game's great for people who can't pull off fatalities. All you have to do is mash buttons and there you go. Well, thank God for Bob Gale and Data East Pinball. The fatalities can get pretty weird too. I mean, they really took the idea to the most absurd levels. People turn into Mona Lisa, have a fly swatter smash them, get crushed by a JPEG of the Titanic, and my favorite, get burned to death by flaming farts. Okay, I'll give him that. Mortal Kombat didn't have flaming fart fatalities. Not until the PlayStation 2 era. They even threw in some amusing nods to Data East and Back to the Future. You can have a DeLorean run your opponent over or crush them with this Burger Time thing. The weirdest one I've seen, you fart out a turkey and it splits into more turkeys that bounce you and the opponent all over the place. I don't know what they were on. I mean, possibly, maybe drugs? There's even a nudality. No joke. This was always a rumor about the original Mortal Kombat, but Tattoo Assassins actually went and did it. While Tattoo Assassins goes above and beyond in the fatality department, it completely took it up the on gameplay. I feel like no matter who I play as, my hits barely connect. That is, unless I play as Carla. She's basically a mixture of Sub-Zero and figure skater Nancy Kerrigan. With her, I can pretty much up everyone in the game. Even the boss characters are pretty easy, and let me tell you about the bosses. Before you fight the main guy, Colden, you have to fight his 3 mutant warriors. First is Rhina, a rhino woman who moves super fast. She's pretty easy. In fact, sometimes she won't do and just stands there. Second, you fight DK. Get it, like DK, because he's a zombie? I'm pretty sure he's just one of the guys at the Data East pinball office in a Party City zombie costume. And last, there's Prism, a crystal skeleton guy who dies in 4 hits. Seriously, you just jump kick him 4 times and he explodes. I don't know if that was on purpose, but it is what it is. Colden is just a cheap final boss. If he wins, he stabs you with his Freddy Krueger glove. But if Carla wins, he explodes spectacularly and she goes to Disneyland. I like how they just photoshopped some Mickey Mouse ears on the only picture they had of her. So there's Tattoo Assassins. Sadly, Data East Pinball's no more, but I think they'd be proud to know that their game that never got to see a wide release ended up gaining a bit of a cult following years later. So this brings me to our last game, and for this one we're taking a detour away from the arcades and digging out the old 3DO. And this one also happens to be one of the worst fighting games I've ever played, Shadow War Succession. Now, before I show you this, I need you to keep in mind, this is a real game. This was released on home consoles. The first thing you get is this cutscene of a helicopter flying past the Statue of Liberty, which is yellow for some reason. And how'd they screw that up? Because the helicopter's green. So it's not like they couldn't make it the right color. Also, listen to that music. This was on the 3DO, a CD-based console, and the music sounds like it was made by someone a Casio. So then the helicopter flies up to a building where a terrible 3D model is standing and begins to shoot into it at 1 frame per second. Turns out this was a hit on Kincaid Storm, a billionaire and leader of the evil organization SHADOW, Shadow, which stands for Syndicate of Hate, Anarchy, Destruction, and Organized Warfare. But it should stand for a heap of doused in orangutan whiz. Good lord, look at that select screen. Look at those characters. Anvil, Carlos, or is it Carlo 3? I mean, holy I know I called the characters in Time Killers and Tattoo Assassins generic, but for sake, this game changes the meaning. I don't even think generic covers it. Alright, let's see. This game is a to play and it sucks. There should be a new, stronger word for games like these, like a sucky or suck. This game's a suck. So, surprise, Shadow War Succession has absolutely no redeeming factors. The control is basically non-existent. You could throw the controller across the room and on it and get the same result as actually trying to play it normally. The sound is an auditory fisting. Also, the voice acting is hilarious.
I will be the next Shadow King!
Prepare to eat lead, baby!
Go to hell!
Underneath all that garbage, you're just like all the street punks I've wasted before!
I think the best part, though, is the fact they forgot the fatalities. They forgot the fatalities. The game prompts you to finish your opponent, but they never actually program the fatalities. I'd rather play Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo than this any day. I'd rather play the Genesis version with the 3-button controller. I'd rather play the Game Boy version or even the Tiger games instead of this. How do you rip off Mortal Kombat but fail so hard you forget to program fatalities in the game? Not like it'd help, the game itself is such a mess that nothing could possibly save it. The first time I played this game, I used 7 continues on the first character, Gabriella, and mind you, I was on the easiest difficulty. No matter what I did, I couldn't hit her. Then, when I tried everyone else, I finally chose Gabriella and realized that she seemed to be the only character that was actually programmed somewhat right. She's the only person I can actually win as. With everyone else, I get my stomped, especially Carlos, and he's holding a damn shotgun. So I struggled my way through the game only to get to the end and find out you can't fight the boss on easy mode, so I went through again. I was able to get to the end with all my continues intact, but then I got to the final boss. Apparently, he's the guy from the beginning who got shot by the helicopter, but now he's a cyborg or whatever. It doesn't matter. All you need to know is he puts every video game final boss to shame, even death from Time Killers. On top of the controls not working most of the time, he's cheap as He constantly spams projectiles, takes less damage than normal characters, and has a spin move that's the thing nightmares come from. Once he uses it, you're pretty much because then he just beats the ever-loving out of you in the corner. So here we go. I blew 8 continues and this is my last one. It's do or die. I've come this far and I can't bear the idea of playing this one more minute. And he destroys me. Game over. That's it. I lose. I get nothing. Good day, sir. But that. I can't just go about my day and forget the horrors I witnessed on the 3DO. I just can't shake my need for satisfaction. I have to play through it to get closure. But this time, I know what to do. I almost had him the last time. This time, it'll be different. And after an hour of jumping around like a idiot and listening to the same phrase over and over, I finally get back to that son of a and this time, I tee up on my first try. Hell yeah. Well, that's the ending. Can't say I expected much. You know, I had to beat it for my own peace of mind, but was it worth it? No. Truthfully, I'd rather lick a cat's a cat. Yeah, you know, if you have a black cat like mine, the brightest part on the cat is the It almost glows in the dark. When he runs down the basement, it looks like a white dot bouncing down the steps. Cat's looks like a broken off banana. But before I start elaborating further on cat's I better come up with an ending. Unfortunately, I got nothing. So, I'll just have to rip off some previous AVGN episodes.
So after you beat the boss, you get to see the best ending in video game history.
What a piece of
Pickle.
You're easier to beat in real life than you are in that game, you no good piece of